Step 3 in the What We Have Learned series is
picking and choosing.
Hey y'all, we're Jimmy and Lisa with FindUsCamping, and today's Tuesday Talks
For RVers is all about just that. Picking and choosing. Picking and choosing the proper campsite.
It sounds that easy, huh?
It does, and sometimes it is. As most of you all know, we are 1,000 Trails members. And
that makes us pick and choose.
The general rule at 1,000 Trails is that the sites are handed out on a first come first served basis. So what that means is you may
get a 25-foot site with a 45-foot rig.
You might. Most of the parks are very conscious nowadays anyway that they try to leave enough open sites in the proper size, but the rules are first come first serve, which means you have a site, but when you get there you have to drive around until you find the right site for you.
Drive around and drive around
and drive around. Some of them do have keep a list nowadays, so when you get there and you tell them your rig size, some of them will give you several sites that would fit your rig, and then you don't have to drive around the whole park. You can just drive and look at those specific ones. Or if you've been to that park before and you can say, oh, we love A19, we'll just go there, and you're good to go.
But some of your other parks, like your mom and pop parks and your KOAs and
right,
you don't just drive around and find a site.
No. And so KOA, their website's pretty clear when you have to put in all your rig information, and so it comes back with sites available that will fit you, and even ones that are available that won't fit, it'll say in red that your rig won't fit in this site. So those are pretty easy. A lot of the more privately owned, mom and pop or regionally owned, a lot of them have really big sites. Some of them don't, but on their website, like the one we're at right now, they ask for your rig size and they light up on the map which sites will fit you. That sometimes is tricky too, though, because it's a certain length doesn't necessarily mean you will fit.
Because we have 45 feet, plus I want to put my 8-foot deck down. So when they say it'll fit a 45-foot rig, it doesn't mean it's going to.
And we may not be able to put the deck down. Or does that site that says it's 45 feet mean that it's really 45 feet long? Or does it mean that it's long enough to hold a 45-foot rig and your tow vehicle? Because that's something else. If not, maybe they don't have a site big enough to keep your truck too, do they have overflow parking somewhere that you can park? Because that needs to be discussed. We have also, I'm not too proud to call the campground directly when I'm trying to make a reservation and just say, hey,
she calls all the campgrounds.
Well, I'll just call and I'll say, hey, I'm trying to make my reservation online. This is my rig size. We also have a tow vehicle.
The site that we're in right now, you could probably see it right there behind us. My tow vehicle fit, but it just barely fit. There is overflow parking here. As long as you put your hang tag up, we were able to park there.
And it's right there, so not a big deal. And we probably could have backed up further, but there's a concrete pad on the side, so we were trying to line our steps up with that. So that's why we stopped where we did. But anyway, when in doubt, you can usually, almost always, call the campground directly and just say, hey, this is what I've got. These are the sites I'm looking at. Can you recommend which one would be better for our rig? Because you need to know how long your rig is. You need to know that you have room for your tow vehicle. You also need to know, are there trees? Are you going to fit with your slides? For us, that's not so much an issue anymore.
Our neighbor, just yesterday, or the guys that were here last week, when they put out their slides, they couldn't split the pedestal.
The pedestal, it wouldn't fit between their two slides, so they had to pull up and scoot over further, and they fit. They made it work. So that's not a huge thing, but if it is somewhere that has lots of trees, you need to kind of be aware of that as well, and how many slides you have and where they are. So that's going to be the next thing you're going to need to do, is you're going to need to be sure that when you're picking your site, whether it be ahead of time online or whether it be when you get to the campground,
you got to make sure that you're comfortable enough in that site.
You need to know what you're looking for, what's important to you. Length, where your slides are. Some sites we can park in, but we can't put our awning out. Not a big deal to us.
Because we don't have an awning.
Even when we did have an awning, it wasn't really such a big deal. We put our awning out sometimes, but it's not a deal breaker. We're not those people that leave our awning out the whole time we're there. So if we can't put it out, we just can't put it out.
So basically, this one's a really short video because it's just picking your site. Everybody, it's not rocket science how to pick out your site. You just make sure that you can fit, basically. Make sure that you know where the pedestal is. Make sure you know where your water shut-offs are. Make sure.
And if you have dogs, make sure you know where you can walk them, because that's a thing too. Some
we've had to walk a long way one time.
Campgrounds don't really have a lot of space to walk your dogs, or maybe it's all gravel on your site and there's no grass, and then you have to walk all the way to the other end of the park to get to the dog park. So keep that in mind too. Or if you've got kids, you want to be near the playground or the pool. So all of those are things when picking your site, just keep them in mind.
So our next video is going to be on
parking.
Backing in and
Once you've
parking.
picked your site, getting parked, getting off the truck.
This is going to be a pretty good video on the next one because we've seen a lot of upset people backing in.
It's a lot of different communication modes that
we're
go
going to show
on
you.
when
We're going to show
backing
you
in an
our
RV.
way we communicate. Like I said,
it may not be right.
It may not be right, but we've got it down to a science. We've been doing it for a very long time.
It works most days.
Most days, yes. So make sure you stay tuned for backing in. We're going to show you exactly how we do it,
how we back it
communicate,
in, how we get it off the truck.
and that's it for this video, basically. So if you're getting any value out of this series here, make sure you give us a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe.
Ring the bell.
Ring the bell so you'll know when the next one comes out, because we have like 2 or 3 more in this series coming out. So hopefully these are helping you guys. And until the next time we find you camping.
Safe travels, y'all.